is Houston. Say again, please.
Houston, we've had a problem.
Hey there folks, and welcome you all to yet another vlog of mine. And if I'm a little bit slurrier than I am normally, I normally do these vlogs on my first flagon, people. But there's a story as to why I'm now on my... well, I've only just started my third flag. Well, I say started, I'm halfway down it now, but there's a whole bunch of stuff going on. However, this vlog is primarily to go through the results of the Game Awards that were on last night, if you're in America or the US of A, and 1:30 a.m. I think if you were in the UK, of which I wasn't going to sit up for. It's not that exciting. So I basically got a site that's listed all of the results. So we're going to do that. However, firstly, and more importantly, and the last time I did one of the vlogs to thank people for subbing, I think was at the 1,000 marker. This time last year, well, almost this time last year, I did a New Year Day live stream, and it took us from somewhere in the mid 700s over 1,000. It was like boosh, you know. It was like people. I clearly was like one of the few people doing gaming streaming that day, and I think it's the one day of the year that everybody is just off. America, us, everywhere. So I think it was a. I didn't have that in mind. It was just I had nothing going on, and I just wanted to do some gaming, share it with whoever needed some company on that day, and it was mind-blowing as to the reception I got. Anyway, so the last time I did a thank you for subs was at the 1,000 marker that I can remember anyway. And so we reached, I mean, somebody said to me at that point, right, yeah, right, well, we'll not do any more of these until you reach, 5,000, 10,000, it's like, fine, but am I not supposed to thank the 500 people that have just subbed my channel? You know what I mean? It's like, it's not really about like the numbers as such. I mean, I find landmarks, like, really, I should appreciate every 50, every 100, I mean, God, when I started this channel, if someone had said to me, you'll get 100 regular people, I would have been over the moon with it. I mean, it took me ages to get 100 subs. So I think it's only, I don't want to be having 500 subs hit my channel and not say thank you. I mean, that's just crazy. So thank you to everybody over the last year that has subbed up to my channel. 500 subs in a year for a little channel like mine, with a guy who tries his best to give you Let's Plays to a point, can't commit to, the regular full-time job of being a YouTuber, because he's got a day job as well, so I try and squeeze in what I can. So it's lovely that I'm getting that 500 subs in a year. If someone had said that to me in my first couple of years of doing YouTube, I would have been unbelievably delighted with that. I mean, it's just crazy for me. And I'm doing this. I'm literally just sharing my gaming experiences with you and hearing your feedback with me. That's it. That's all this channel is about. It is nothing else. I'm not trying to build a empire. I'm not trying to be someone that I'm not. I'm just me. I'm just gaming, and I want to share it with people. That's all this channel is about. I'm bumping the microphone. So, and I realize that people like to have, on a Monday I'm going to get Dead Space, on a Tuesday I'm going to get an RPG, on a Wednesday I'm going to get this, and I don't do that. I do what I can. I try and play what I feel like I'm going to enjoy at the time, so that I come across as enjoying it when I'm playing it. And then there's times when I just can't do it as much as I'd like to, and there's gaps of time where I don't record stuff or do vlogs. And I try to keep those times rare, but sometimes you have to take a little bit of a break from stuff in order to come back and enjoy it again, and that's fine. And in the main part, I haven't lost people because of it. There's always going to be people that unsub. That's fine. That's okay. But unbelievably delighted with the 500 people that have joined since the beginning of this year. And I mean, in fact, I wanted to do this. I was wanting to do a 1500 vlog midweek, but since midweek we've hit 1520 or something like that. So you know, it's still growing. And sometimes the videos themselves that I'm posting at the time make a difference. In this case, I think Kingdoms of Amalur Reckoning has made a difference. But then I've been posting up Switch stuff now. I've been posting up Zelda. And I finally got back to doing a Divinity video. So you know, it's all the RPG stuff. What was the other one I was doing? I did some Subnautica. I've got another Subnautica to put up for you. Another hour and 20 minutes that turned into, I think. So I've got another one of those. What was the third game I was doing? God, I'm having a massive mind blank, people. But anyway, I've been posting stuff up. But over the last couple of weeks, certainly the last week, I've been posting up. In fact, no, the last couple of weeks, I've pretty much been posting something every day, whether it's a vlog. This week, it's been lots of gameplay. Some of the days I've had 2 videos. And I think that does make a massive difference. If people see you putting up a lot of content, it obviously pings subs in because people notice you for a start off. Whether they actually want something every day or not, it's a different story. So anyway, I ramble on. So thank you to every single person that has subscribed in the last year. Thank you to all the 1,000 people that subscribed in the many years before. And thank you to all of the people that were the very first people to sub me and have stayed with me ever since. And there is so many of those people. I mean, well, it's grown, obviously. But there are so many people that have been with me since the very beginning, and those people have stuck with me. And it's really nice to know that when you find people that want to watch what you're doing, and they give you really nice feedback all the time, and they stay with you, and they never go anywhere, and they never unsub, and they're with you for... I mean, the people that I consider friends... and people that have joined a bit later, you know, I mean, I if I start naming names, I'm going to forget people. But I'm just very grateful for whoever you are. You know who you are if you're a regular person that talks to me. You know who you are if you're a person that subbed me right at the beginning. And all of those people, I see you every time. I mean, you know this, people. You know this because whenever you put a comment on my channel, I reply to you. Unless you're a cock end and you say something stupid. But I reply to every comment that goes on my channel. I want that. I want you to talk to me. And I love all of you for talking to me. And I love... Anyway, I'm going to go off on one. I'm going to start crying, people. It's like an Oscar speech. You know who you are, people. Thank you to you all. And hopefully... we will head into yet another year of the same success. I can't do a New Year's Day stream this year because I'm going to be at it's my brother's 50th birthday, people. So, and his birthday is on New Year's Eve. And he lives away down in Poole, which is near Bournemouth. And I'm not going to miss that. That's my brother, you know, so I'm going to go down for that. So I'm not going to be available for streaming on New Year's Day. So, you know, but, you know, following year, perhaps. It's a great day for doing a bit of a stream. Obviously, so many people just looking for something to look at. But there you are. Shall we move on now? Thank you, everybody. Thank you. I love you all. Okay, let's move on to the Game Awards. Right. What I'm going to do is I've just basically found a website that lists them all, so I'm just going to rattle through them. We'll start with the big one. And, cheers, everyone. Flagons up, eh? I'm going to have a sip, actually, before I start. Have a sip of yours. Go on. Go on. You know you want to. I'll wait for you. All right. So we'll start with the big one. Now, I think everybody thought this was going to be a 2-horse race. I know there was a number of titles in the offing. I don't know what all of the titles were for these, by the way. I'm literally just running through the winners. So, the Game of the Year, which was the biggest one of all, it seemed on the run-up to be between God of War and Red Dead Redemption 2. Red Dead Redemption 2. And God of War won it. God of War got Game of the Year. Now, I know that a lot of people are going to be pissed off with that. I know how many people love Red Dead Redemption 2. Here's my spin on it, people, right? Now, I'm saying all of this based on the fact I have not played Red Dead Redemption 2, but I have watched quite a large amount of footage on it and read quite a lot of comments on it and seen quite a lot of feedback on it. All right. Whereas God of War, I mean, I couldn't stop playing that game. That is, as you all know, if you actually see me finish a game, you know it's a good game, don't you, right? Because I don't finish games, people. We know this on this channel. I mean, if there's any detriment to be thrown toward me, it is the fact that I do not finish games. And I'm well aware of it, people, I am. But God of War is one of the few games I have finished over the last year. And there's a multitude of reasons for it, but it just hooked me in. And I just didn't want to stop. And I didn't play it on the channel, but I threw up some snapshots. I threw up some shares, some video shares from the PlayStation. So I wasn't commentating over them, but I threw up some, little snippets of edited bits I was doing. And honestly, I adored that game. And I think, my personal opinion is, the reason that game won that award instead of Red Dead Redemption 2 was because that game had reimagined and reinvented itself. I think if it had been God of War 5 or whatever, I can't remember what the last one was. God of War 3 was, yeah. If it had been God of War 4 and it was just like all the others before it, it wouldn't have won that award. The reason it won the award was because it reinvented itself in an entirely different world with an entirely different play mechanism, with an entirely different story. Added the play style was completely different. I mean, it just had reinvented itself entirely. And it was an absolute masterpiece. It was absolutely brilliant. Was it perfect? Well, maybe that's a conversation for another time. It got 10 out of 10 in a lot of places. I'd have to step back into it to see if I believed it was a 10 out of 10. It's a difficult one to call because what are you basing perfection on? Did I ever see a glitch in that game? No, I did not. Did I love everything about it? Pretty much. So, I think scores are based on an individual's perception of a game. It's not ever a whole company. It's just one person reviewing it. But I think the difference with Red Dead Redemption 2 is that it wasn't a reimagining. It was an enhancement of Red Dead Redemption 1, which was Red Dead Redemption. And for me, from everything I've seen about that game, it is exactly the same game, but bigger and prettier and more to do. So that's what I'm seeing based on the footage and the feedback and blah that I've seen. I haven't played it. And maybe I'll have another conversation with you after I play Red Dead Redemption 2, and maybe I'll change my mind. But for me, that is just a bigger version of the one we've had already. And I think that's... And in any other year, and God of War hasn't been released, maybe it wins. And I think you can't just hand somebody a title because their game looks the best and their game is the biggest of them all. It has to be based on more than that. I mean, if we come back to God of War, the way you got through areas was genius as well. The different tools you had to use to throw things, hook things, freeze things, but it was absolute genius. Honestly, the way that game played out was brilliant. I mean, the whole, I can guarantee you now that Red Dead Redemption has not got any sort of game mechanism like that in it where you have to do that sort of stuff. What have I got? How do I get through this puzzle? There's no puzzles in Red Dead Redemption 2 as far as I'm aware. It is all about beating this, shooting that, hunting that, run through the story. So you have to argue it's a game. It's not a film. It's a game, right? So the more game you've got in a game, I think will win over the prettiness, the largeness, the stories, the blah. And even then, I still think the story, and even when I play Red Dead Redemption 2, I bet you I still prefer the story in God of War. So that's my opinion as to why God of War won. It's not to do with the God of War being bigger. It's not to do with it being prettier. It's not to, and these are all arguable facts. I don't believe one way. I'm not going to say which way or the other I believe, but because I haven't played Red Dead Redemption 2. But, and I'm pretty sure that Red Dead Redemption 2 in places may well be prettier, but it's an open world, so you know, I might wander around it and go, well, that section looks a bit shit because it's in the middle of nowhere and clearly they didn't care about the 3 leaves that are in front of me or something like that. So, you know, you're talking about comparing an open world game with a... I mean, God of War is not linear in its minimalistic sense, but it is linear-ish. But you've still got massive areas to wander around in, but it's certainly not an open world RPG. So, you know, and that's what Red Dead Redemption is. I mean, in the end, it is a cowboy RPG. Or it's GTA on horses, you know, whichever way you look at it. Anyway, so there's the reason that I believe God of War won it. And I'm actually glad that God of War won it, because I think God of War brought something fresh to the table, both in the way it reinvented its story, reinvented its world, put that character in a new world, and just gave us those gaming mechanics to get through areas like, how do I get through this with the kit I've got? How do I get this other kit that I need to get through these areas? I'm going to have to revisit that area because I didn't have this beforehand. I mean, it was just great. I mean, it was absolutely fantastic. I absolutely adored that game. And I will play it again at some point. So there you are. We shall move on to the next one. I'm not going to talk this heavily about all of them. That was the big one, people. So we're going to rattle through them now. Where are we? We're on 16 minutes I've been talking, people. Right. Best game direction, God of War again. What have we got? Best narrative, Red Dead Redemption 2. But again, that's saying that Red Dead Redemption 2's got a better story, effectively. I can't argue that because I've not seen Red Dead Redemption 2 story. I loved God of War's story. I think, yeah, I mean, that's a tough call, that one. And sometimes you feel like the people that have done the marking, whatever you want to call it, sometimes it's like, well, they didn't get the big one, so we better give them something else. You wonder if a bit of that goes on. But as I say, I can't say here nor there because I've only seen one story. Best action game was Dead Cells, which I've never heard of in my puff, people. So perhaps somebody can inform me as to what that game is. Or, you know, I could go and look it up myself, but I'm very lazy. No, I've never heard of it. Best action adventure game, God of War again. Best role-playing game, Monster Hunter World. That's an interesting one. When I saw it, I had to scan through this list before doing this, but before that, because I had a big chunk of looking at this and then a big chunk of problems, which I'll chat about at the end. But and then doing this, and I was trying to rack my brain as to what were the other role-playing games out this year, and I couldn't think of any. It's like what was out? Dark Souls Remastered maybe came out this year, did it? Yeah, it did. Early part of this year, I think that came out, but that can't really be a contender as it's a remaster. So I don't know. I could not, off the top of my head, and even scanning my games, I couldn't think of an RPG that came out this year. However, and here's a bigger question for you. My son gave me, I've said this in another vlog, my son gave me Assassin's Creed Origins. And if anything has become an RPG in its nature, it's Assassin's Creed. Because that game is that is a massive open world, and the way that the armor works, the weapon works, the hunting, that's an RPG now. You know, Assassin's Creed is basically an RPG. So whether that was actually considered for it or not, I don't know. But if it was, that is a massive shout for best RPG. Because Monster Hunter for me had no vibe whatsoever. I mean, but maybe I'm starting to wonder if I've even got... I don't get the whole Monster Hunter thing. I honestly do not. I played the demo of that on the channel, and I was just bored out of my mind. So I don't get it. That said, and I haven't played Odyssey yet, and I know Odyssey's the one that was out this year, but I would have thought that Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which my son tells me is even more of an RPG than Origins was. For my liking, I think that should have been considered heavily for RPG of the year. Whether it was or not, I've no idea, because I don't know what the list was of nominations. But for my liking, I think those two are well, for this year's, but those two Assassin's Creed games are most certainly RPGs. They're not action games anymore; they're RPGs. So, yeah, I mean, I've got to, I don't know, I've only scratched the surface, really. I've been playing it for bloody hours and hours, but I've only scratched the surface of Assassin's Creed Origins. For me, I wasn't, I mean, it looks incredible. I like the way they're doing the mechanics, the actual battling system. I'm still not convinced about the battle mechanics, because the minute somebody's got a shield, you're just useless. Well, I am anyway. So I'm not 100% convinced, certainly in Origins, about the battle system. But my son tells me again that Odyssey seems to improve it even more. But certainly it was better than the parry one that was in all the others, the boring one. So, but absolutely magnificent game. But again, it didn't lend itself well to its side quests. No other game for me has given us side quests like Witcher 3. Forgot the number. I mean, it wasn't like, let's just give them something to do because they need something to do in this big world. It was like they'd written all these little stories, and some of them big stories, and lore and history. They'd written all this stuff, and they wanted to tell you this story. And then it was like, right, let's build a game around that. And that's how you should do it. Like, there is no... This is why open worlds are boring as feck when people get into them. Because they build the world, they say, right, we're going to give them hundreds of hours of stuff to do. This is Destiny's problem, by the way, which isn't an RPG, I know that. But that's its problem. It thinks that it can build a massive world and then just give you really boring shit to do over and over and over again. And it's crap. It's absolute nonsense. Like, what you want to do is write yourself a massive amount of stories and lore and interesting things that you as a person would want to know about and learn about yourself. And then you build your mechanics into that. This is the story we want to tell for this little side quest. Let's, and that is what Witcher 3 did. Witcher 3, for every single one of its major side quests, had beautiful, intelligent, and just brilliant stories. Really, really cool. I mean, no other game have I ever seen that in. And yet, time and time again, we get open world games that are boring as feck because all we're doing is the same shit every time. Escort the person here without them dying. Pick up a package from there. Follow the person over there without being spotted. It's absolute bollocks, people. Seriously. And it doesn't take a genius to work out why people get bored or why their games aren't good enough. Like, I don't understand, like, with the hundreds of staff these people have and the amount of money they pay these people to write scripts and shit, why it's so difficult to understand that the most important part of a game is that level of it first. Write the interesting stuff first, then, concentrate on the mechanics of your open world. But it never seems to happen, and The Witcher 3 got it perfectly. And Assassin's Creed Origins, for me, suffered from, coming full circle, people, suffered from the same thing. And so there's a few interesting things in there, but in the main part, it's like, oh, so-and-so's camel's lost, go and sort the camel out. So-and-so's daughter was going to get married to so-and-so, but she doesn't want to do that, so she's pissed off somewhere, go and bring her back. And it's like, yeah, but it doesn't add anything to the fecking world or anything. It's just me going somewhere, going way over the other side of the map to come all the way back to where I was. It's like, fuck's sake. Give me a purpose and give me something to be interested in while I do it. And so there you are. Anyway, I went off on a tangent there. But for me, the Assassin's Creed games are certainly RPGs now. And I don't know whether they were included in that decision process or not. But anyway, it was Monster Hunter World that got that one, and I will play Odyssey at some point, just not yet. Best family game was Overcooked 2. I haven't played Overcooked 1. Best strategy game was Into the Breach. Best sport racing game was Forza Horizon 4. No shocker there. That I think Forza Horizon's been leading that there for a while, hasn't it? I don't know whether it's ever had much competition from the FIFA or the Pro Ev or any of that sort of stuff, but Forza's been on top form for a long time. Excuse me. I mean, I've only ever played Forza for about half an hour at a game convention, but because I'm not into racing games, but I've seen many people. Sean Kehoe, if you're watching this vlog, he's a massive Forza Horizon fan, and I constantly see him posting up tweets or what have you about how good it is. But I mean, it certainly took over the racing genre. It was back in the day. It was the PlayStation one, wasn't it? Which I'm forgetting the name of, which used to lead the way, Gran Turismo, and that seemed to they seemed to go, yeah, we're not doing that anymore, and just what happened there? Forza Horizon just picked up and basically has been awesome ever since. Best multiplayer, Fortnite. No surprise there, really. I think Fortnite took over PUBG quite a while ago, didn't it? I mean, I've not played them. I've watched a bit of footage of them. Nothing more than that. Best performance, Roger Clark as Arthur Morgan, Red Dead Redemption 2. Another one for Red Dead. Best independent game was Celeste. I think I pronounced that right. Best debut indie game, The Messenger. Best art director, Return of the... What? Obra Dinn? Is that? Glasses, people, I'm old. Best score music, Red Dead Redemption 2. Best audio design, Red Dead Redemption 2. Games to Impact, Celeste. Games to Impact. Games for Impact. Celeste. Best ongoing game, Fortnite. Best mobile game, Florence. Best VR AR game, Astro Bot Rescue Mission. Content Creator of the Year, Ninja. Yeah, is that Ninja Theory? I assume it is. I'm not sure how that works though. How can you, the best content creator, be a different person from your game? How does that work? But anyway, hat off to them as a now indie. Well, I was going to say now indie. They were one of the ones that have been bought over by Microsoft, but they're not indie anymore, are they? But for what they achieved a magnificent result with Senua's Sacrifice, without any doubt being a smaller dev. So, best student game, Combat 2018. Best esports game, Overwatch. Yeah, fair enough. Overwatch it's been massive for a while now, hasn't it? Best. Here's a thing you might not have known about Overwatch, right? And I may have talked about it in another vlog, but I can't remember. But Overwatch was the result of a massive failure, and they oh god, I'm out of mind blank again. But the company were trying to create a new franchise, and this team of developers came up with all these ideas. They started developing. There was a whole year's worth of work into this thing, and it just wasn't right, and it didn't work, and the whole thing just kind of fell apart. And what they did then was awesome, because what they did was they said, well, okay, wipe it, and we're going to come up with another idea, and we'll do something completely different. So that it wasn't even anything like Overwatch. It was a completely different type of game. And so they went back to the drawing board. They said, right, let's think of another IP. And that's how Overwatch was born. And Overwatch is, I think, over the last few years, has been one of the highest earning games ever, and over the last number of years. And if you compare that to the fact that Lionhead Studios, as an example, which I still think Microsoft should be so ashamed of shutting that studio down, but Lionhead Studios whether it be their own creation or whether it be something Microsoft was forcing on them because they felt like the MMO world was something they had to do because everyone was doing MMO, we'll never know, I guess. But there was, you know, it was like they got to the alpha stage of Legends, Fable Legends, and it wasn't good, people. I played it, and I mean, in places it looked pretty enough, but it just wasn't interesting to play. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't. It just no. And it was like, just give me Fable 4. Why are you doing this? We had no idea why they were doing it. And then it all fell over, and it was like they realised no one was enjoying it. They realised their own bloody people didn't want to play it. But instead of actually doing what the Overwatch team did, and I'm saying that because I'm still having a bloody mind blank, it's the same people that built Diablo, fuck's sake, what are they called? And World of Warcraft and all that. Anyway, so instead of doing what they did and said, right, let's go back to the drawing board, let's do Fable 4, let's do blah, they just shut the whole bloody place down. And it's like, and now Microsoft are buying studios for fun. Well, why didn't you just leave Lionhead open and give them a fecking title to write? I mean, it was just bizarre. Why are you running around all over the place when you already had a AAA title company there? It makes no sense to me whatsoever. It's absolute madness. Because the style and quality of game for Fable, that studio was great at. And I understand that Fable 4 is still coming and they've got another studio doing it. But why did you shut that studio? You could have had that studio doing something else. Why did you shut them down? If the answer was, well, we couldn't afford to keep companies open, which is bollocks anyway, because Microsoft are mega rich. And then you've got another company building Fable 4 anyway. It's like, well, and then you're buying up all these other people. Made no sense. I honestly don't understand what that was about. But that coming full circle again, people. Overwatch is the child of a massive failure, and that's exactly for me. If you're in a company that is capable of financially supporting a failure, then let it fail and let that team grow from that failure and develop something even greater. And that is what Overwatch is, as opposed to what Microsoft did, which was just shut the place down because one idea didn't work. Absolutely crazy. I don't understand it. So I love seeing the success. I've never played Overwatch, and I probably never will because it's not my type of game. But I love seeing the success of it because I love the fact that it's the child of a failure. I think it's amazing. And I think more rich developers should stand by that. Moving swiftly on. Content Creator of the Year, Ninja, we got that. Best... I thought we did Best Student Game. Combat 2018. Best Esports Game, Overwatch. All right, have I gone backward instead of going forward? Best Esports Player, Dominique Sonic Fox McLean. And that's their real name. What? Just call yourself Brian. You know what I mean? The feck. And well done anyway, if you ever find this video. Congratulations. Best Esports Coach, Bok Reapard Hangyu. Real name. Best Esports Event, League of Legends World Championship. Best Esports Host. Can't pronounce it. I can't. I'm not even... Okay, shall we try? All right, okay. It's Ije Joz Depocater. That's exactly how it's pronounced. What? Best Esports Moment. What? I can't even read that. Hang on. Zoom in, people. C9 comeback win in Triple OT versus FaZe. Well, that's exactly what I thought. This happens. And there you are. That's everything I have on the big list, people. So, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I mean, I'd love to watch the Game Awards, but... And I was going to watch it. I thought about doing a live stream while watching it and then chatting to you as it happened, but I was like, I can't be bothered. Like, there's so much in it. Like, they don't just come on and do that. There's like launch trailers and all sorts of stuff. Oh, new Dragon Age in the making, and it's a continuation of Inquisition as well. So yeah, very, very chuffed with that. It's a couple of years away yet, but yeah, it was nice to see them pushing it. I mean, they're not going to want to be pushing anything other than the MMO they've got coming out next year, Anthem, for the time being, because they're really going to want to push that anyway. And plus, a lot of the developers possibly that were working on Anthem, now that it's reaching that crescendo of launch, may well push over to helping with the next IP. I don't know how it works, but yeah, but I love the fact they're teasing it. I mean, we got teasers for Inquisition a long time before we ever saw it, and that's fine. Take all the time you need as long as it's awesome. I don't care. However, it does mean we're going to be getting it on the new gen, people, without any doubt, because if the new gen doesn't happen this coming Christmas or before, next October or November, it will certainly be happening at some point the following year. So there you are. One final reminder, because we all know that I do not, at the end of all of my videos, say, please like and subscribe, I love you all, and blah, 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 because it's really annoying at the end of every video. So I will use these videos to just say, if you like the video you've just watched, whether it be this one or whether it be every Let's Play that I put up, please hit that like button and show me that you're still enjoying it. Because it's only then that I will continue to do the same Let's Play or whatever else. You need to tell me, people, if you are liking it. I think what happens is people see the first three, they like the first three, and then they watch all of the others after that, but they don't. They just think, I like the last ones, it's fine. So please remember to hit that like button, people. You know you want to. Just do it. Do it now. Do it now on this video while I'm just doing this. I love you all dearly, whether you like me or not. It has been an honour and a oh, hang on a minute. I didn't tell you my story. All right. If you're bored with me now, you can turn off. But I will tell you this story of why I was late doing the vlog and ended up on beer number 153. Well, number 3, actually. You'll remember some weeks ago, I did a video on new capture equipment. I'd basically bought the Elgato HD60S, and I was using already the HD60. And that was fine, and I thought, right, I hooked it all up and everything was fine and blah, blah, blah. And then last week, when I posted up the first Kingdoms of Amalur, I was a little bit slurry doing that. I was a lot slurry doing that, in fact. Kingdoms of Amalur Part 1, Jesus Christ, was well minced. But I didn't want to wait, I wanted to go. But the reason that happened was because I thought I could just plug in the new one, leave the software as it was, plug it all in, boo, recorded a bunch of it, and it was all over the place. So I was like, oh shit. So I had to uninstall all the software, then put it all in again, and blah, blah, blah. And then eventually I got it working. But I was getting these, there was all sorts of stuff happening. So anyway, so that kind of worked that night. And then I came to it the following day or day after, and I tried to record some stuff and it all worked fine. But the minute I was trying to close the software down, or the minute I tried to do something else while the software was open, I got the blue screen of death on my laptop, like this massive blue screen saying, oh, something's gone terribly wrong, big smiley fucking face in the corner, which annoys the shit out of me. Why have they got a big smiley face on your computer when the thing is clearly pissing your eye off, people? It's almost like it's smirking at me. Stop it. Anyway, so I'm getting these blue screens of death. So anyway, long story short, I've spent the last week recording and not seen any blue screens of death after I did all my sorting. Told my son that I was going to, because I said my son could have the other device because I was using the new one, so I was going to send it down to him. But I hung on to it just in case there was more problems. I texted him last night and said, yeah, it was early yesterday evening. I texted him and said, I'll post it to you now because I was just waiting to make sure I didn't get any problems again. And sure enough, an hour later when I was recording, well, not while I was recording, when I'd finished recording and tried to close the program down, I got the blue screen of death again. So it was like, so the whole thing just started kicking off again. And I'm still getting it now. And so, right, tonight, I thought, right, I'm going to have to send it back. Today, I clicked on the Amazon thing, said I'm sending it back. It's causing my machine to crash. Came back tonight, put the old one back in place, and it's still doing it, even though I've uninstalled everything and put everything back. So I've got absolutely no idea what on earth has caused that to happen with putting the new device on the system, because it's not even undoing that problem now that I've put the old one back. So I've got some thinking to do over the weekend, and I might have to rebuild the laptop, just do a factory restore, and just build from scratch and see if we can get it back to being okay. But the only time I get the blue screen is if I open Elgato. I mean, it's happy in doing anything else. There is no blue screen me doing anything else. The minute I open Elgato, do something, try and shut it down, blue screen. The minute I open Elgato, do something else while Elgato's open, it might just crash. I mean, it's that particular program that is just causing mayhem. So I've got no idea whether it's some sort of device clash or driver clash or program clash. No, none the wiser. I've tried everything I googled, and it just doesn't help. You know, uninstalling the drivers, uninstalling the software, reinstalling everything. I've done it umpteen times, didn't sort it. Anyway, so I shall try to find some sort of solution for it. I'm going to initially start by rebuilding the laptop. And on the upside, if I rebuild the laptop and the new one works, it's a win-win, because I can then send it to my son anyway, and I can have the new one, and it's doing everything we want. And for you guys, it doesn't really matter that much, because even though it's blue screening, it's only blue screening when I have finished a video and it starts to render, which isn't the end of the world, because the minute it starts to render, it's already kept the original file from when I recorded. So I haven't actually lost any recording. It's just like, you know, it's just a painful blue screen, loses some settings, and you have to put it all back. But the videos themselves are still there. So, you know, it's not been a nightmare so far as I've lost hours of recording or anything, because I haven't. So there you are. I thought, anyway, just wanted to tell you that story, because I promised earlier in the video, people. I didn't know I was going to talk for nearly 45 minutes, did I? So there you are. Where was I? Oh, yes. It has been an honour and a privilege serving for you in this Friday night vlog of mine. And I shall see you all in the next one, folks. Take it easy. Bye.